The Case of the Lost Keys, a true story from a quiet village. Today's story is a true story that took place in a small rural village, one of those peaceful places where everyone thinks they know everything about their neighbors. But as this story will reveal, even the quietest places can hide the darkest secrets. It all began one calm evening when a woman named Alice walked into the village police station, trembling and anxious. It was just after 5 p.m., and her voice shook as she addressed the officer on duty. "I returned from work," she said, "and when I put my hand in my purse to unlock my door, my keys were gone. I searched everywhere. I can't find them." The detective on duty, a seasoned officer named Mark, motioned for her to sit and began asking her routine questions. "What's your name?" "My name is Alice." "How old are you?" 30 years old. "Does anyone live with you?" "My husband," she replied, trying to hold back tears. "How old is your husband?" 32. "And why haven't you been in touch with him?" She took a deep breath. "I've called him many times, but he hasn't answered. The house is locked, and when I knock, he doesn't respond. I'm afraid something might have happened to him." Her voice cracked with fear. Officer Mark exchanged glances with his colleagues. A missing key, an unresponsive husband, and a frightened wife, something wasn't right. He stood up and said, "We'll go with you. Let's see what's going on." The discovery. They arrived at Alice's home shortly afterward. Everything appeared normal. The front door showed no signs of forced entry. The windows were shut properly. Nothing seemed disturbed. After completing the legal procedures necessary for entry, the officer ordered his team to open the door. The moment the door swung inward, Alice gasped and stumbled backward, her hands covering her mouth. Her husband lay on the bathroom floor, motionless, dressed in his pajamas, his body covered in blood. The tiles around him were smeared in dark red, a silent testimony to a violent end. Alice screamed. Officer Mark immediately instructed his team to secure the scene. He escorted Alice back to the station for questioning. The interrogation begins. Inside the interrogation room, Officer Mark sat across from her and began calmly. "When did you leave home today?" 7 o'clock in the morning. "And where was your husband at that time?" "He was asleep in the bedroom." "Why did you leave so early?" "I went to work." "I work for a company." "What is your job?" "I'm the secretary to the company director." "Did anyone see you leaving your house today?" "Yes," she said quickly. "My colleagues. We all went together in the company car to the headquarters." Her answers were quick, sharp, almost rehearsed. Suspicion grew, but suspicion alone wasn't evidence. The investigation expands. Officer Mark and his team went to the company to question the employees. One colleague confirmed, "Yes, she was with us in the company car today." Another, however, said something odd. "She usually comes with us?" "No, not really. She usually comes in the director's personal car." That comment raised a silent flag. Mark pressed further, "What is her relationship with the director?" "All professional," multiple employees replied. "Nothing unusual." But Mark's instincts told him there was more. Still, no evidence. No motive. No proof. Legally, they had nothing. So the investigating authorities released Alice and recorded the case as a murder by an unknown perpetrator. A year of silence. A full year passed. Alice withdrew completely from the world. She did not visit neighbors, nor did she receive visitors. Her life became a cycle of home-work-home. She wore black every day. Until one day, she didn't. She suddenly abandoned mourning clothes and began dressing elegantly, expensively, far more lavishly than before. Her spending increased dramatically. One afternoon, by pure coincidence, Officer Mark saw her. She was sitting in a cafe with a well-dressed man, laughing and looking carefree. She wore expensive jewelry. She looked wealthier than ever. Mark narrowed his eyes. Where did all this money come from? Who was the man with her? The case, long considered closed, began to stir again in his mind. A neighbor's hidden memory. Mark disguised himself and returned to the village. He approached a neighbor of Alice's, pretending to be a prospective buyer for a house nearby. Can you tell me about the people in this area? He asked casually. Especially the house over there. The neighbor hesitated. Why do you ask? Are you an officer? No, Mark replied smoothly. Just the new buyer. The neighbor relaxed. I remember something strange, he said. On the day her husband died, I returned home around 5 in the morning, and I saw a man knocking on her door. I assumed it was her husband, so I didn't pay attention. Mark's pulse quickened. A man. At 5 a.m. Before Alice left for work. This was the missing piece. The officer's trap. The next day, Mark visited Alice. We found the house keys you lost the day your husband died, he said, pulling a key from his pocket. Her face immediately changed. Her hand trembled as she took the key. Are these your keys? He asked. Yes, she stammered. They're my keys. Would you like to try them? Just to make sure? No, she replied quickly. I know my keys. Then she asked nervously, where did you find them? With the man you were sitting with yesterday, Mark said. Her face turned pale. And, he is the same man the neighbor saw knocking at your door at 5 in the morning. Her breath caught in her throat. And now, Mark added coldly, you will come with us. She froze. Her knees buckled. She collapsed into the chair, and then came the explosion of truth. The confession. Through gritted teeth and tears, she confessed everything. She had been having an affair with her manager. Together, they had planned the murder to inherit her husband's wealth. The plan was simple. She would leave at 7 a.m. for work. Her lover would come before dawn and hide in the empty room next to the bedroom. After she left, he would kill her husband. She would pretend to lose her keys. She would call the police pretending to be innocent. No one would suspect her because she was at work at the time of the murder. And for an entire year, they got away with it. Until greed exposed her. The final twist. After the confession, Mark took the key she claimed was hers and inserted it into her house door. It didn't turn. It didn't even fit. That's when she realized, too late, that Mark had tricked her. It wasn't her key at all. It was a random key he used to force her into confessing. The moment the key failed, Alice broke down completely, shaking with panic. Her lover was arrested shortly after. Both now face a lifetime behind bars. It was a random key he used to force her into confessing. The moment the key failed, Alice broke down completely, shaking with panic. Her lover was arrested shortly after. Both now face a lifetime behind bars.